Well, hello there, how are you? It's Polly Brennan here for those of you that don't know me. For those of you who do, you'll be aware that I like to talk. I like to share ideas, thoughts, and inspirations through vlogging, video blogging, and here I am. I'm in my funky little chill out zone here. My little Buddha's behind me, having some time to myself. And I've been thinking a lot about the power of perspective. So that's what I want to talk to you about changing the lens. Um, Sometimes, as a life coach, people might come my way because they have a change they want to make. It could be about designing a project, creating a goal, and sometimes it's actually just about shifting in how we think about situations. So this is about changing the lens and shifting how you think and how powerful it can be to change your perspective. So what really got me thinking about this, I've been on holiday recently. I've been in the outdoors a lot. It was sunny, I was near the sea, I was in the fresh air in the countryside, and I was wearing my polarised sunglasses. Polarised sunglasses, for those who you don't know, it's just specialised eyewear that cuts out the glare. And I was very aware that when I was looking around me, I could see the world in a gorgeous shade of gold. Everything just looked brighter and warmer and more inviting. The world looked more inviting and positive to me, and it increased my desire to be outdoors. And it influenced the experience I had as I looked around the world around me. Also, as I was looking into the ocean, I was looking for fish and I was looking for jellyfish, and I could see beautifully and clearly through the water. So my lenses just cut through the water and showed me what was there. So it showed me more than I could see with my own eyes, and it showed me things in a shade that looked very possible and inviting. And I think it's possible to do this in life in general. So it reminded me about that. It reminded me that it is possible to put on, to have a lens to look through that makes things feel more useful. Perhaps makes you feel happier, more settled, or like your world can feel more tolerable. And at times we all need that, so we don't always need to change our situation. Sometimes we just need to change how we're viewing it. So how do we put that into practice? So that was I was using an analogy of my polarized lenses. How do we really put this into practice in life? Is a really good question. And how can you put this into practice? Um, so perhaps you have a situation that you would like to look at differently, and sometimes it's really about how you view that situation or that challenge or that event, and being able to think about it from a place of possibility. So I'm asking you to think about what's another way of thinking about the situation or your world right now from a place of possibility. What is there? What can you take from your circumstances? Perhaps it's that the circumstances you're in can give you some opportunity to learn something, to grow. Perhaps you're focusing on the negatives and not focusing on what's actually possible. So sometimes it's really just about thinking, what's possible in this situation? What can I influence? And what can I get out of this situation that'll be a positive result for me? Sometimes it's also about appreciating what you have. So sometimes we're busy thinking, so much thinking that we don't have, that we're not noticing what and appreciating what we do have. So sometimes it's really just about being attracted to what you have and what's possible. And also, it might just be if you're working on a project or you're working on a goal, it might be that you need to stop and actually recognise your progress, the progress you've made already. Maybe you're not finished, maybe you're not exactly where you'd like to be at the end, but stop and recognise what you have achieved so far already. Notice what's been possible, notice what's been achieved, and pay attention to that. Because when we acknowledge success and we acknowledge movement, it can really influence what we take away from that. So an example for me was recently I was feeling very frustrated about a day that I'd spent doing things online, and I just hadn't really felt like I'd ticked anything off my list or achieved anything. And at the end of the day, I felt very frustrated. I felt down, I felt negative. And we can all do this. And what I really needed to do in that situation was, and I used my coaching for this, was to really stop and notice what I had achieved, what progress I'd made, and what developments I had created and what I'd uncovered. And you know what? Nothing had changed in that situation other than how I was feeling about it. So sometimes we have to stop and just recognise what we are achieving and what possibilities we're opening up. Okay, so what do you want to take away from this? What's came up for you today as I've been talking about the power of perspective? Maybe you're in a situation where you want to create change, or maybe you just want to change how you're looking at it so as that this is more positive and possible. It's come up recently in some coaching I've been doing with someone whereby they've discovered that they either need to change their job because they're not happy at the moment, or they need to change how they view their job and how they view their capability, progress, and opportunities within their job. It's a really, really interesting subject, and for all of us, there may be situations we can't change, but perhaps we can change how we view it, or we can find a way to feel more there's something more opportunistic available to us in that situation. If you'd like to share more with me about it, I'd love to hear from you. And in the meantime, I hope it's just been useful that we've looked at this subject together. And thank you for listening. If you want to leave messages, comments, you can, and you can give me a thumbs up. So it's Polly Brennan signing over and out. Bye now.